What's going on, guys, and welcome to my Friday Night SmackDown audio review for October 20th, 2023. I am Graham G. Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well and having a great weekend so far. A pretty good edition of SmackDown on Friday night. Not a lot of in-ring action. We had a great main event for the AEW. What the fuck did I say that? For the WWE Women's Championship between IYO SKY and Charlotte Flair. I thought that was a terrific match. Not a whole lot of action otherwise. We had a Montez Ford Santos Escobar singles match. We had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller against Cameron Grimes and Dragon Lee in tag team action. Those matches were pretty standard TV stuff and were well wrestled, but didn't get a lot of time. The main event did get some time, and that was great, but we had a lot of talking on the show. It didn't really bother me, though. I still enjoyed the episode. A lot of talking to set up future matches with LA Knight and Roman Reigns now made official for Crown Jewel. The United States Championship now being defended at Crown Jewel between Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul, and setting up stuff for the weeks ahead as well. So I enjoyed the show. Not a lot of action. They definitely should have done a better job of that. We only had 3 matches and probably 20-plus minutes of in-ring action throughout the 120 minutes. But overall, I enjoyed the show for what it was. We open up the episode with Paul Heyman. Surprise, surprise, no Roman Reigns this week. You would think Roman would be on every SmackDown heading into Crown Jewel. They didn't need Roman on this show because I thought the exchange here with LA Knight coming out, interrupting him, and them going back and forth was enough. It was enjoyable, but I'm thinking Roman's barely around it as it is. Before last week, he had not shown up on SmackDown since August, and over 2 months since the post-SummerSlam edition of SmackDown. Like, he can't appear on this show. I know he's on next week on FS1, contract signing, great. The week after that, they're probably also going to have him on that show, because I think that show's pre-taped before Crown Jewel that Saturday. They're probably taping 2 SmackDowns in one next Friday night. So he'll probably be on that. I mean, maybe not, actually. They might just have a video package, but it's like, you can't have Roman show up more? I mean, come on. It's only a 4-week build. Would it kill him to show up for 4 weeks in a row? Anyway, I thought this was good stuff, though. Heyman acting all confident in Roman's ability to beat LA Knight come Crown Jewel and after Crown Jewel. You know, enjoy this LA Knight momentum push as it lasts, because after Crown Jewel, it's going to be over. Which there might be some partial truth to that. I don't think the LA Knight push is over after Crown Jewel, but he will certainly not be all over the main event scene on SmackDown the same way he is now coming out of Crown Jewel. Once he gets that opportunity and loses, that's it. It's kind of literally only downhill from there. Again, I don't think he's going to be going back to being fucking Max Dupree or some shit, but still. He won't be challenging Roman Reigns again, I wouldn't think, for that championship, let alone winning. At least until Cody Rhodes wins it at WrestleMania. Then from there, maybe LA Knight can get a world title opportunity and a world title run at some point in 2024, either on Raw or SmackDown. But anyway, I thought this was good stuff, though. Again, LA Knight coming out, confronting Heyman, him kind of telling Heyman, listen, you acted all confident before when I wasn't out here, and I'm starting to feel like you see me as a threat to that championship, which Paul Heyman does. I like that a lot. Didn't get physical. No one came out to attack LA Knight. Didn't need to. Just pure talking here from the two, and I thought it was great. Not a home run promo from either guy by any means, but I thought for what it was a very good segment. First match in the show saw Montez Ford take on Santos Escobar of the LWO. Good quality, well-wrestled TV match here. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but I thought it was good stuff while it lasted. Montez Ford winning, following a distraction and interference from Bobby and Angelo. We had the LWO ringside too, but they kind of evened the odds there. Montez cheating to win, picking up the victory. Both guys need wins right now. Both Santos and Montez Ford need wins right now. At the same time, though, it was Ford's group, and actually Ford himself, that got pinned at Fastlane 2 weeks ago. So I think if anyone needed the win here, it was him. Santos will be fine. They're still telling that long-term heel turn story with him anyway. So the more losses he racks up, the more ammunition he'll have against Rey Mysterio when the time comes for him to turn on Rey, maybe even a Crown Jewel costing him the United States Championship. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. I thought this was good stuff, though. Carlito making the save for the LWO afterward. Carlito will not be in action next Friday, but it will be Montez Ford and Angelo against Rey and Santos again in tag team action. I think we've already seen that match twice. I don't really know why we need to see it again. I'd rather just get to Carlito being in action on SmackDown or Bobby. I know the funny thing is that we'll get to the U.S. title stuff in a second, but I said this last week. Bobby beat Rey on SmackDown 2 weeks ago. On the SmackDown before Fastlane, I know the Fastlane 6-man tag team match was the focal point, but Bobby did pin Rey in a singles match by pinfall, and he never got his United States Championship opportunity. Maybe because he lost the 6-man, even though he wasn't pinned. At Fastlane, whatever. John Cena was out next, and he kind of acted dejected and said that he has a hard truth of his own to kind of face, a hard reality, harsh reality to face. That being, it's been 2,002 days since he last won a singles televised match in WWE. He didn't say the word televised, but I'm not even sure how many matches he's had that were not televised that he would have won, that were singles matches, because he doesn't work many house shows at this point. He was doing house shows in the summer of 2021, but I think that was all 6-man tag team matches, I think, with the Mysterios against the Bloodline. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, he said that, and I wasn't exactly shocked, because I've brought this up before, how Cena has not won a singles televised match in a very long time. He's won tag team matches. He won the tag team match at Fastlane. He won the tag team match on SmackDown in the last SmackDown of 2022, alongside Kevin Owens, right, against Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. He won that match, but he hasn't won a singles match since beating Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble in April of 2018. Now, that was so long ago that Triple H was still wrestling. We were still getting Brock and Roman matches at that point for that championship on that same show. That was their first Saudi show, and it feels like it's been a decade that they've been working with Saudi Arabia, but it's only been 5.5 years. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since John Cena has won a televised singles match in WWE. And it is a pretty wild statistic. It's kind of funny, too, because they have Cena come out, and every single week now they announce him as the greatest of all time, which it's arguable. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but, I could see why they would say that. It's a marketing tactic. They do probably believe he's the greatest of all time, whatever. If he's the greatest of all time, the guy can't win a match in 5 years. It's just kind of funny that they say that shit, and then he comes out and says, I haven't won a singles match in 5 years. It's like, well, that's kind of a long time. I can't remember the last active performer. I mean, he's not full-time, but it's like, I can't remember the last active mainstream major star that did not win a singles match in a 5-year span. That's kind of crazy. But in that time, again, you have to remember, he hasn't worked a lot of singles matches since then. A lot of formal singles matches either. I mean, off the top of my head, I know after that match was over, he disappeared for a while. He did a tag match in Australia, that Super Showdown show. They talk about their Australia PLE coming up next year. They did one 5 years ago, almost exactly. It was a tag team match on that show. Him and, I think, Bobby Lashley against Kevin Owens and Elias that he won. Again, tag team match, though. He would have been in that Crown Jewel match, that tournament, another singles match in Saudi Arabia, but he pulled out with the whole Saudi Arabia controversy at the time. 2019, I don't think he had any singles matches at all. In that little mini run that he came back for in 2018, 2019, he only had a couple multi-man matches and tag team matches. Didn't wrestle again until the Bray Wyatt cinematic match, I think, at WrestleMania 36. Again, cinematic match, and he lost that anyway, technically. Didn't wrestle again until the Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam 2021, that he lost. Did not wrestle at Mania in 2022. When did he wrestle again after that? Was it the tag match on SmackDown, I think? Last year, again, tag team match. Lost against Austin Theory at WrestleMania. He really hasn't had a lot of matches in the last 5 years, but it's still a pretty wild statistic that he hasn't won a singles match since April of 2018. Which, the fact that they're even bringing it up, I like, but it has to mean that he's got to win a match at some point. What I don't like about this is that it probably means he might be beating Solo Sikoa come their match. Which I also find a little hard to believe because Solo's been so heavily protected. He also got pinned by LA Knight last week, which made sense. LA Knight's challenging for the championship in a couple weeks. I'm fine with that. But it's like, does John Cena really need to be beating Solo Sikoa? Cena and Jimmy Uso would be fine, but it seems like they're setting up Cena and Solo for Crown Jewel. And that's what I was hoping they would do, but Solo going over. I mean, Cena did win the tag match at Fastlane, but again, the whole story is that he hasn't won a singles match in over 5 years. I would have Cena beat Jimmy Uso first. I mean, I don't know how they want to make that a big moment. Would that really be a big moment on SmackDown? I mean, I don't think Cena's wrestling a televised match before Crown Jewel. He will be at Crown Jewel, but I think he probably faces Solo on that show. I don't think he should be beating Solo, but it kind of seems like we're headed in that direction. But basically, he mentioned the retirement thing, playing off the Sting stuff from Wednesday, which I don't think was intentional, but it was interesting timing. Jey Uso making the save for John Cena, attacking Jimmy at ringside. They're having a lot of interaction between Jey and Jimmy as of late. Jimmy did cost Jey the tag titles on Monday's Raw. They're still definitely doing the match at Mania, but they're having a lot of interaction in the meantime. And then we also had Nick Aldis kind of getting pissed at Adam Pearce for Jey coming to the show. And Adam Pearce was there too for some reason. I'm not sure why he would have flown into the show in storyline if he didn't know Jey was going to be there, if he's not the SmackDown GM anymore. But anyway, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce teasing tension. I think I said this in my SmackDown Lowdown review. I would not do a brand Supremacy War Games match between these two brands at this point. I don't care about the Raw versus SmackDown stuff for Survivor Series this year. We just got back dueling GMs a literal week ago. It's way too soon for that. I'm not even sure what those teams would look like, because you would have to mix Bloodline and non-Bloodline people together, and it's just not necessary. So I wouldn't do that personally. It would probably have to be a Bloodline versus non-Bloodline match in War Games, but not just because it's Raw versus SmackDown. That's just me. That's probably what I would do, but I guess we'll find out. Because I just say War Games because Adam Pearce said, maybe it was Nick Aldis, he said, let the games begin. I think it was Adam Pearce who said it. So it's like, oh, okay, they're planting the seeds for War Games, but I wouldn't have it be brand Supremacy. Anyway, they had Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul in the ring. Pretty basic stuff here, setting up the match for Crown Jewel for the United States Championship. Again, bringing past stuff up from years past, and how Logan has already beaten Rey Mysterio. They said that like in the advertisement for this segment coming up on SmackDown. I think they said it on Raw, and I was like, when did he ever beat Rey Mysterio? And I completely forgot his first match in the company was facing Rey in that tag team match at Mania last year. He probably I think he even pinned Rey. It might have been Dominic, I don't remember, but it wasn't a singles match. He wants that United States Championship. He will get that title shot at Crown Jewel. I think he's walking out as champion. What I don't like about this is that Logan Paul is not a full-time guy. I don't think he should be the United States champion for 4 or 5, 6 months if he's not going to be around consistently is my issue. I think LA Knight takes that title from Logan Paul. That's my prediction. Do they do it at the Rumble? Would they do it at WrestleMania? That's a Mania match to me, but I don't want Logan Paul showing up every 6 weeks as U.S. champion when we already have a part-time world champion. I just don't like that, but this was good stuff, though. The second match in the show, after like friggin' 90 minutes of barely any wrestling, we had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller taking on and beating the duo of Cameron Grimes and Dragon Lee. Quality match here. It was well wrestled. The heels went over. They were the actual team of the two, so that's fine. Grimes took the loss. He needs wins, but whatever. Dragon Lee was kind of protected. Good match here. Nothing out of the ordinary, but good match. We had Kevin Owens sitting down backstage, or not backstage. It was earlier on in the day in the empty arena before the show went live. Him and Cathy Kelley talking about his new move to SmackDown and opponents he can face. He mentioned the Bloodline. He was wearing a Yokozuna shirt, which he said was coincidental. He did mention he wants matches with Rey Mysterio for the first time one-on-one, Sheamus for the first time one-on-one. He mentioned wanting to punch Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, probably setting that up as his first program. That was the last 2 names that he mentioned, so probably that's his first program, which is fine. Good stuff here. I like that we got to hear from Kevin Owens about being on SmackDown. It wasn't your typical backstage interview. It was like a sit-down interview from earlier on in the day. I like that. And then the main event, IYO SKY defeating Charlotte Flair to retain the WWE Women's Championship in a very good match, much better than their NXT match a few years ago. They had better chemistry here, and I liked the finish, too. I thought they did a good job of showing that Charlotte tackled IYO, but you didn't see that IYO had the belt with her. So, like, Charlotte collapsed, and I'm like, why did she collapse? And then IYO pulled out that she had the championship, threw it to the outside, pinned Charlotte, and won. But Charlotte being the victim of the numbers game here, I appreciated that she pinned Charlotte, and it wasn't like a DQ finish. I was kind of worried about that, let alone Charlotte winning the belt back. That would have been very dumb. But now IYO won by pinfall, which was great. She wasn't going to beat Charlotte clean. She didn't need to. It's not that big of a deal. But I enjoyed the match, though. Got plenty of time. The most wrestling we got in the entire show by far. And then afterwards, making the save for Charlotte was Bianca Belair, who we have not seen on SmackDown in about 2 months. So I thought Bianca being back was a great moment. She was on her way back anyway. It was Damage Control that took her out in storyline about 2 months ago. So they're back on track now. And we'll see where this goes. Probably Charlotte and Bianca against Damage Control. We've seen Charlotte and Bianca against Damage Control ad nauseum for months, let alone years, with Charlotte facing Bayley so many times in the past, Bianca facing Damage Control last year. And Bayley even prior to that point. Prior to Damage Control, Bianca was facing Bayley on SmackDown 2-3 years ago. So it's time to move on from that. I'm kind of curious where they go with it. But I thought it was cool to give the women the spotlight to close out the show here in what was a very good match. But overall, thumbs up SmackDown. Not a lot of wrestling, as I mentioned, but still enjoyed the show overall as it was. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next week as we progress on the road to Crown Jewel in 2 weeks from today. Have an awesome one, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.